Good afternoon, Louisville Adventure Team. This is Drew with the Louisville Adventures. We're back to prepare another meal. We've still got some stuff to do today, so we can't just, that's why we're not out there on the grill or somewhere else. We can't just stay home and tend to our cooking, so to speak. So what we're gonna do, we're gonna cut up some old cheap pork steaks we bought the other day. I did not buy these for this particular recipe, but we're gonna flat sure use them for this recipe. And it's real simple. You just gotta cut the pork up into small, manageable pieces. Gonna put it in a pot of water with a little salt, a little pepper, a little minced garlic, and let it cook till it falls apart. Nothing hard about that. And then when we get home from the rest of our adventuring, we'll add a few ingredients to the pot. Hopefully make something that's simple yet delicious. We've already got our pot of water boiling. Better add our ingredients. A little salt to taste. That's my taste. A little minced garlic. I like garlic. A little black pepper. Don't take much of that. And we'll add our pork. In the next 2.5 hours, we'll get it back to a boil. We'll reduce the heat. It should simmer to a nice broth. That will further enhance the flavor of what we're going to make tonight. We'll see you guys in a little bit. Okay guys, we let our pork simmer while we was gone to another auction. Key word there, another. So it just cooked down tender. What we're gonna do is let it sit here and cool where we can chop it up. And you don't have to chop it up fine, you can leave it in chunks. We just want to pick the bones and the stuff we don't want out of it. Probably not gonna put all the fat back in there. The fat's done its job. It's flavored the broth. Okay, we've got this out. We're gonna let it cool where we can chunk it up here in a little bit. So we're gonna remove it here. Now we're gonna save about 4 cups of this delicious broth to go back in the recipe. But when we make this, we don't want it to be too thin. We want it to be like a real, not quite a casserole, but definitely a little thicker than a soup. We want it to maintain its thickness. Alright guys, we're gonna return the cooked tender pork back to the pot that we cooked it in. I'm gonna break it up. Try not to put the pieces with, even though the fat brings wonderful flavor, it don't hurt. Pick that out of there. We're gonna kind of shred it as we go. We want a couple pounds of just lean tender pork. I guess we can leave that on the counter for the time being. Set this over here. We will add our other ingredients while we're at it. 1 can of the sewer peas, drained. One can of mushrooms, drained. This is also good when you're camping or just in a hurry for a one-pot meal that everybody will enjoy. Don't see how Shaq missed all them free throws. And finally, the magic ingredient, 1 can of cream of mushroom soup. Now we're going to add a couple of ladlefuls of our broth. Let's go with 3 for now. And we're going to stir that and mix it. See how it looks. We may need another can of soup. We may not. Okay, all right, we want to heat that back to a simmer. It looks about right, about got the right thickness, like a real thick soup. Not quite a pudding or a custard, but definitely not watery. Let's get it back on the stove. All right, guys, we've added just a little garlic salt. We're going to add just a little bit of black pepper this time. I like black pepper. We're going to turn the heat on. At this point, everything is done. We've just got to heat it through. And in the meantime, we're going to make some mashed potatoes to spoon this over. It's just like a rich, meaty gravy. I'm sure there's a fancy word a chef would use. But it consists of cream of mushroom soup, cooked tender pork, English peas, mushrooms. You spoon this over some mashed potatoes. Good as something as you've ever eaten. So we'll get back with y'all when it's done. All right, guys, we've got everything done. We did take a shortcut. We just made the Idahoan smoky cheese and bacon instant potatoes because, like I say, we've had a long day between drag racing the Amish and arguing and fighting and bidding at the auctions. Had a long day. Now we've come home, we're ready to eat. So we've got us some smoky bacon cheese potatoes. And we're gonna ladle some of this pork and mushrooms and peas over the top of that. So this is not an extravagant meal, but it's quick, it's simple, and it's very, very tasty. And you don't have to use pork. You can use chicken or armadillo or snapping turtle, whatever you've got access to. I prefer the snapping turtle, but you know. Guys, that's perfect. We will see y'all on the next one.